Over the last quarter, e-magazine is moving from a monthly publication to a daily news platform provide current issues, forums, and breaking news. The only difference is ETM will present news from a balanced perspective, meaning women will be equally represented in the discussions, forums, and interpretation of issues. E-magazine started 2 years ago, and quite accidentally when Althea was invited to be the director of NAFE for Los Angeles. Excellent. Having already published 6 books on topics ranging from children to social and business issues, she recognized an opportunity to showcase the talent from NAFE speakers. After a few drafts and a rocky start, E-magazine was born. At the beginning, all the writers came from the NAFE pool of talent, and aggressively promoted by NAFE leadership, specifically Robbie Motter, no one is surprised, the NAFE Global Coordinator. Over time, the magazine has grown to 60 writers in 7 countries. The distribution started with NAFE and is now reaching a base of 1.4 million women and men. E-magazine now has readers on every continent, which grows each month. With the launching of ETM News Media site, E-magazine will experience another area of growth, placing it within the group of small media networks. These are still the early days, but E-magazine and ETM Media Networks have landed on a niche that will be around for a very long time. She is also the co-founder of the Gate Book Company, a publishing and social media company. Althea holds over 20 years of experience in financial markets, business development, and technology startups. She's interviewed hundreds of small business owners, families, innovators, and entrepreneurs. Peter Drucker granted her the honor of opening one of his classes with a lecture on expert systems. She didn't ask, he asked her. She has a master's in management of information science from Claremont Graduate University, SISAT School of Information Systems and Technology, an MBA from the Drucker Graduate School of Management. She has designed several systems and software, specifically an analytical software that facilitates cognitive recognition of high-volume data, hyperdynamic or complex data. Can we please give a warm welcome to Althea Ledford?
Testing. Good afternoon. I write out these notes and then I actually don't look at them, but today I'm going to try because I want to hit some points. They put me on last, which I'm, well, almost last because then we're going to get the serious stuff in a minute. But I want you all tonight, this afternoon, to think about, I have 2 questions. My topic is SAFE is for sissies and suit up. And when I wrote the topic, I had no idea what I was going to talk about, but it sounded really tough, so I sent it in. So anyway, when I was talking, I was thinking about it because all the time when I'm watching TV, working, moving, and talking to different people, we have over 100 writers in the magazine. And when I finish, Robbie's going to tell you NAFE's part in the magazine is going to leave room for that. We talk to a lot of writers, and I have a lot of whiners, I have a lot of complainers, and I have some that are very, very laser focused. And I almost can tell who's going to be really successful in their business and in their career just in the first few minutes of conversation. Because the people that really are all about it, they're right to the point. I'm talking to them and they're hearing quick, they're understanding, they're doing a sorting. So by the time I finish giving my presentation, they know how much they want to do, when they want to do it, and they get started. Then some of them I work with, and they want to think about it. They want to imagine, they want to feel, they want to do all this. And by the time they get ready to get started, the train has already gone down the track. They're not writing for like 6 months. But I wanted to ask you this question. The topic is SAFE is for sissies and suit up. So in each one of us, I want each of you to sit really quietly, because half of you are almost asleep right now. But I want you to sit really quietly and think, not physically, but the question is, how big am I? In your mind, how big are you? Think, how big am I? The second question is, how big am I really? Inside of you, and when I just ask that, some of you are going to say, I'm here, and when I say, how big are you really, you're going to go like this. You're going to shrink. And then some of you, I'm going to say, you're going to ask yourself the same question, I'm here, but I'm really, really way up here. but I'm shrinking to fit. Because everybody's trying to fit. The people that are this little internally are trying to appear like everybody else. They're trying to appear as generous, as kind, as nice, but inside they're really not that generous, kind, and nice. And then some people that are trying to fit or actually have wings packed up under their suit, and they just haven't stretched them out yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. They haven't done this with their world. So let's start here by defining wealth. And I do believe in God. I'm going to mention him all the time. In fact, I'll give you an example. I was out there looking at the jewelry, and this one has verses of Bible verses on each little thing here. And I looked at it, her little voice said you should buy it. And I'm so cheap, I go, maybe not, I'm thinking about it. It's only $33, but it's $33, okay? So I'm going, okay, maybe not. So I go in the bathroom, and our assistant's running there, and she goes, you won. And guess what I won? I won a gift certificate. Guess where it was? To the same stand where I had the... So God will work with you is what I'm saying. He really will work with you. So, another example I want to give. I had this, it's not a real crisis, but it was a crisis to me. I called Dr. B. We talk all the time. Yesterday I called her. Oh God, I'm just falling apart. It was really, boring. It was not a crisis, but I was perceiving it as the end of the world. And she's like, girl, you better get up. Like, get up. I was like, I'm writhing on the floor, falling apart. She said, you better get up. And she says, I'm going to come and get you. I'm going to take you to breakfast. And she sat there and talked to me until I got through my drama, until I could assimilate my brain to start in on attack mode and not fight, not run, but fight. So all I'm telling you, to be a hero, to show up, to suit up, it feels just like everybody else, but you do something different in a crisis. Average people do one thing and big people do something incredibly different. And today, I want to tell you, I want you to get either angry, excited, concerned, or curious enough to decide that you're going to do something different today. Today forward, you're going to actually become different. You're going to stand up in who you actually are. Not your capacity, not what you're doing for your professional life, not what you're doing with your friends, but when you're sitting in the quiet moments, and you can imagine without money being an issue. Money's never an issue on your vision, I just want you to know. I've been a stockbroker for 22 years, and the people that have good ideas, money finds them. Money follows purpose. So if you have your purpose thought out, money will find you. So it's not about the money. It's about the power and the noise and the impact you're making on the universe. And you can make impact on the universe at this size, you can make it in a very big way. But you have to make your life count. You're breathing every single day, you have to make this thing count. When you die, you're going to die. I hate to be morbid, but I always tell people they're going to stick in a box, throw the top on, throw it in the ground, and then dirt. They're going to start shoveling dirt. And then everybody within a very short period of time is going to go on about their business. And you're going to be going, wow, what matters? How did I actually matter? So you have to ask the question, how am I going to make a difference while I am breathing? They need to drag you out of here. You need to not die. You need to not go quietly into the dark. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to define life, wealth, really quickly, and footprint. Life. It's your breathing. It's every day. You can be so quiet. You can sit in a corner. People can bring things to you. You can actually live and die and nobody even know you were here. Or you can be so obnoxious and so bodacious and so out there that you have a hat on, or people watch you and go, I'm here, I exist. I'm here. 2-year-olds tell you all the time, babies tell you all the time, I'm here, I'm here. Be here, be present, be awake. Am I making sense? Okay, so when we say wealth, most of us think of wealth as money. Most of us think of wealth as money. Well, the way I got to the wealth concept was I was having a dream, and I was in heaven. I have a lot of dreams about heaven. I was in heaven, and there was this post on this stairway. And as I was looking at the stairway, he said, most gold posts, if they're gold plated. But in heaven, it's gold all the way through, because there's abundance, so we don't have to fake it. So then I thought, well, what is wealth here on earth? Wealth on earth is not just cash. It's when you have an intergenerational plan that you can pass to your kids, when you can speak life into your children, when you can have a vision that you can actually actualize, when you go through your life and you have health, you wake up in your right mind and you're not stressed out, when you can actually get up in the morning, put on the music, or drive down the freeway and the song comes on, and you can presently recognize a blessing. So I'm gonna tell you a quick minute how to catch a blessing. You're walking, you can be driving on the freeway, your favorite song can come on, you can have a wonderful memory, but you realize God's given you a gift. The universe is talking to you right now. All the things line up, and so many times in our day, moments line up, and we're so busy tripping about this, that, and the other thing, stuff that doesn't matter. We don't know how to stop and be still and capture what is actually going on. If you guys have small children, you all remember when you had your 2-year-olds and your 3-year-olds and you're thinking, I'm gonna go crazy, they're driving me crazy, it's too much noise. And then when they grew up and left, you crave the moments when you remember those little bitty feet running through your house. And they're gone. It was a season, it was a time, it came and left. So what I'm explaining to you is while you are here, having your life, make your life count. So the next point is that I'm defining wealth as a balance of several things happening. You're wealthy when you can have your voice. You're wealthy when you can speak. You're wealthy when you can have freedom of thought. You're wealthy when you can envision something and tell somebody else about it. You're wealthy when you can stand up and move forward and tear off all the encumbrances of the world, and your spirit can come through and you can be who you're supposed to be. Is that making sense? Okay. Next piece I'm talking about is footprint. Anybody can leave a footprint. When you pass, and the reason I talk about death because it's a wake-up call. It makes you realize I'm alive now. You work backwards. So when I talk about a footprint, what are you going to leave behind? Not what you gathered up, what you collected. Because I'm going to tell most of you, I do financial planning all the time, you leave children millions of dollars. Within 2 generations, they spend it all. And they spend it irrelevant of what you thought about it. Like my mother was really careful to give me this particular silverware from my grandmother, which is all bent up. I didn't want it, but I took it. Somebody else gave me some china. Somebody else gave me something else, and I'm collecting all this stuff. I don't want the stuff. I want my stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is, what you value, you don't push that on your children. What they value, give them the opportunity and the space to have their own personal self-actualization experience. So understand that you should pass something on to them, but freely pass it on. Whatever you want to do with it, it's yours to do. Not hold down the fort for the next 6 generations, because that becomes bondage. But anyway, I got off tangent here. Footprint. So what are you going to actually leave behind? Let me give you an example of what a footprint is. We all go on a playground and you see the kid, when you were little, playground is a wonderful life experience. I don't know why we don't do it more often. They should have big people playgrounds too. But when you get on a swing, you're swinging. That whole process of swinging is relaxation. Nothing. It's telling you, the physical motion of swinging on a swing is telling you everything's okay. It's going to be all right. This is wonderful. You hear the wind blowing. And just remember, I tell people all the time, one of my things is, when you pass by a park, stop, park your car, get on the swing, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You'll be surprised at what you feel like just by swinging on the swings. And so anyway, in the process of doing that, girls especially, we played these hand clapping games. You remember Mary Mack and all the ones who played? If today was a weekday, you go to any school at recess, they're still playing some of the games they played when you were there. What people don't realize is that's a phenomenon that's happened. Those babies have passed on hundreds of generations of childhood games by telling each other and sharing. So it's like a ghost of patty cake stays on the playground. I realized, I said, they're still singing the same songs when I was in school, and my grandmother was in school. They made up some more, but there's a whole bunch. We just know the rhythm. Rhythm is a good way of relaxing as well. But they would just play the rhythms on the playground. And I realized every child that leaves something for the next generation coming behind them, and these are babies that can do that. So what words that came out of your mouth are going to be resonating in somebody else's mind that's going to benefit and help them? What stories have you shared that are going to make a difference in somebody else's life? Have you just been talking about you? Have you just been only thinking about money? Have you only been thinking about getting from step to step to step? How many times have you stopped and went, there's a lady in here, I don't know if she's here, who does nothing but hug. I thought, this is fabulous. She walks and she hugs everybody. And you know, I love hugs personally. They're free, they feel good, they're all squishy. And she did, she was around hugging everybody. But what have you actually done to make a difference in somebody else's life? And you'd be surprised. It's something called priming. I wrote all these notes, I haven't touched them yet. I got 2 points, but I'm gonna get back to it. There's something called priming. If you want peace, joy, love, patience, happiness, there's something called priming. You know when they have a well, and she said yes, but when you want to prime a well and it's empty at the top and the water's down below, the way to get water out the well is to pour some water in the well. It's called priming. The universe works the same way. There's something called soul math also. I just want to admit you guys, that's called reaping and sowing. It's in the Bible, but it's math. It's math of giving and taking. So this is out of that mind thought of soul math. You want money, you start giving money. The money's going to find its way back to you because it's a way of drawing it out. Is that making sense? You want love, you start giving love because you're going to prime it out. You want patience and hope, start giving out with your mouth. Start demonstrating patience, start giving out hope, and guess what's going to happen? Guess the universe is going to give you back? Oh, patience. It's going to give you back what you gave it. So prime your life with what you want to give back. If you want love, you pour it in. Everywhere you can. Give it out every place you can. And then what's going to happen is the whoop, it's going to just start going. And what's going to happen, people are going to start tossing it back. Just everywhere, you're just going to start getting the love. And this is one of the tricks of the universe. So now, when I say, what footprint are you leaving, what are people going to say about you? What have you done? What have you actually planted? What have you actually given beyond the average 8 to 5? The next thing I want to talk about is, always help. How many smiles did I create? How many people do you talk to every day and you say something to make them feel better? It's really, really, really important. How many hugs did I give? I talked about that already. How much happy did I spread around? When you get somebody on the phone, first thing you should do, compliment them, pump them up. You're having a wonderful day, go out there and do it again. Pump them, it's good. Humans respond to encouragement. Humans respond, this is a trick for you ladies that are married. You want your husband to cut the grass? Honey, I saw you out there with all the muscles glittering in the sun, mowing that lawn. I thought, oh, it looks so wonderful. He'll be out there pumping, doing that lawn every week, because wherever you compliment, that's where it's going to keep coming back. It works. It does work. I mean, when sometimes he walks by, just go, Keep walking by. Keep walking by. Okay. Got off track. I'm coming back. So now, I'm going to give you an example. When I say safe is for sissies, suit up. This is average versus what big people do. This is how you tell who you're dealing with. You surround yourself with big people. If you want to be bigger, find them. Somebody said I can't think of the guy's name, but we were at a conference, and he said, if you hang around 4 broke people, you'll be the 5th. If you hang around small-minded people, they will either frustrate you and kick you out the group, because you're always talking positive, happy. Some people can't stand happy, but I'm happy. And I'm going to be happy either way goes. I'm going to be happy. But I'm also going to help you to become happy too, because that's my job. That's why I'm here. And so here it goes. Small people, this is the difference. You guys all will recognize this when I give you these examples. Car accident. Average people pull out their phone and start taking pictures. Big people get out the car and help. We all know, you see that happening. On crisis, we have a prayer meeting every morning at 7 o'clock on the phone. And one lady got on the phone, this guy was describing a woman. First of all, in order to participate in this big stuff that I'm talking about, you must see yourself as powerful. You must see, even on this size body, in my brain, I'm a giant. In my brain, I'm a giant angel. So I figure if somebody calls me, I'm going to figure out how to help them. I'm going to give them some homework, but I'm going to figure out how to make a difference. I'm a warrior at heart. That's what I'm doing. So this lady called. This guy was talking. He was giving a description of this woman's situation. She was a caretaker. She had foster children, and she was a very loving, wonderful grandmother. One of the little girls hit her head. The district attorney, this is back in a while when people of color did not get the same social justice as everyone else. They said it was murder, and she was put in jail for life. It was an accident. But he told the story twice. Second time he told it, I was upset with myself because I said, Althea, you heard that story the first time. You should have called her. So I called the guy. I said, Anthony, when we get off this call, give me the woman's number or tell her to call me. Here's my landline. I will accept her call from prison. I want to see if there's anything we can do. Because since the time she started, and now they have all kind of shows out about innocent people going to jail, how to get realistic numbers on your sentences, and if something was an accident. She's been in jail for almost 18 years behind an accident. And guess what? Everybody forgot. Everybody's looking like, oh, that's a sad story. So the thing is, average people listen to other people's problem like entertainment. They go, oh my God, it's so terrible. And then they go off to the next thing. All right, they'll go and say, oh, did you know this happened to such and such? Isn't that terrible? Oh, let's go get some coffee. And that's how they do it. Average people are entertained by your drama. Extraordinary people figure out how to help you. They go in and say, what can I do to make a difference? Even if I know I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to read up on it, I can take 10 minutes a day and help you. I might change her whole life. But guess what? When I walk into the room, it's all going to change. Because I'm powerful. You, individually, think of yourself. I am powerful. I'm going to make a difference. I showed up, it's all going to change. Do you understand? Yes. Because you show up, the world should change, your environment should change. It should not be the same way it was when you walked in a room. When you walk in a room, something should walk in with you. Those of you who know God know what I'm talking about. When you walk in the room, something should walk in with you. It's like, okay, I'm here, let's get busy, let's find out what's going to happen. Another example is on 9/11. We were all aware when we saw that situation. It's true, everybody should have been running out of the building. Average people, which is a lot of people, that particular time, unless you knew what you were doing, everybody's running out the room, out the building. But guess who ran in? All these extraordinary, big, wonderful men that were there, suited up for that particular moment in time to make a difference in the world, they ran in. And in life, when you see a crisis, you should be running in. Am I making sense? Yes. How dare you see somebody need something and you just go, oh, I can't see it. Right. Let me tell you what the difference is. One time I was driving on the freeway, and like Dr. B was saying, problems are relevant. I was driving a black Mercedes, had big glasses on, had a big job, had going to a big school, just everything was big, 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 but I was crying under those sunglasses because I was going through a divorce, and I have a job that's so high strung that one thing goes wrong, the whole thing comes down, moving millions of dollars. So stress is a regular part of my life. So I was driving down the freeway, I have an ex-husband who's turning to a stalker, I got finals due, I got projects at work, and I don't have no room to breathe. Even though I'm driving this car, behind my big sunglasses, crying. I get off the freeway. Then I have a couple dollars in my ashtray right in front. There's a homeless man off to the side. He was exceptionally tall, exceptionally blonde, but still he was homeless. So I go, I pull the money out, and I roll down my window and I give him the couple dollars. He comes up and he grabs both of my hands. These are like big, warm, strong hands. And he says, everything is going to be all right. I said, that was an angel. Because I felt something go up my arm when he said it. And my thought was, how did God know I was going to get off the freeway here? I'm thinking, and what if I hadn't taken the money out and gave it to him? What if I hadn't did this or that? But I showed up where I was supposed to show up, and what was supposed to happen, happened. And this man said, everything's going to be all right, and he looked at me, and it just went off. It went like that, just went whoop. And I was suddenly okay. I was suddenly happy. I knew I'd seen an angel. He didn't scare me. He was beautiful. He radiated, dressed in homeless clothes. You never know who you're entertaining. They say you entertain angels unaware. And he said that, and I knew God knew where I was, and as long as my daddy knew where I was okay. Prior to that, I thought I was by myself, but I really wasn't. So know that in the universe, when you step out, when we're doing soul math means he always sees what you're doing. When you're doing a soul math, it doesn't matter if nobody sees you. He sees you. He hears you. When you think big plans to help other people, guess who tunes in? He hears you. When you think I want to help orphans, I want to go to the prisons and talk to some of those lonely people that are in there forgotten. I want to go to the hospital and talk to some of those lonely people. Better yet, I want to go to my neighbor. She doesn't have any family. I want to tell you a quick story. Neighbor, she didn't have any family. I want to help her. I want to feel like she has a friend. This is what I call suiting up, putting your feathers on, letting your light shine, letting people see who you are. You're bigger than your job. You should be bigger than your body. You should be impacting the universe every single day. When you wake up and your feet hit the ground, people should get concerned because stuff's getting ready to happen. I'm here, I have arrived, I'm awake. 2 days ago, I got punched in the stomach, but you know what? I said, I'm falling apart. I was like, why? Roll around. When I pray, I roll around on the ground and complain, and I get up and do it. But I was whining, and I was like, I could lay here because I got a reason. But then I said, the devil would be happy if I laid there. I said, okay, just for that, I'm gonna get up. And I got up, and then Dr. B called, went to break. I put back together, but I got my fight back. So you guys have to be the other person. Sometimes you might just be the word of encouragement to tell one warrior to another warrior, set up, look, Safe for Sissies, suit up, show up. It's going to happen. Is it making sense? So, the 9/11 was an extraordinary event. I always wondered, what is a firefighter? What kind of training? Well, men, it's testosterone, because I always wonder, why would you put on a helmet and run into a whole other group of men to get a ball? What are you doing? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They do it all the time. But they do all kinds of stuff, but the point is risk. It's okay to risk. Tell me when I'm into 15 minutes of my time so I don't make it pain. Okay, extraordinary events. Give you some examples. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, then I'm gonna come back to this. At least I'm getting halfway through my list. I have a book I had out years ago called 10-Minute Hero, and the point was, if you spend 10 minutes a day paying attention to somebody else and doing something extraordinary, you could change somebody's life. Just 10 minutes a day. And God help us if we all collectively work on the same thing for 10 minutes a day. What will that do? We could change the world. And still, the theory still works. So what happened was, one of the stories was talking about seniors. I heard this story on the radio, so I didn't make it up. This guy was a pastor. He part-time was a cab driver. He went to this woman's house to pick her up. He was supposed to be taking her, when you get in a cab in the old days, you tell them, it's not like Uber. You tell them the address when you get there. And he got there, he went up to the door and knocked, and the woman put her arms out and said, get those bags there and put them in the trunk. And so then she came and got in the car, and she says, I have money to take you. I need you to take me around to some places. And you guys have to remember this, because life is always changing. Nothing is stagnant. It's always moving forward. And so he took her through the city. He was driving her through the city. He drove her through their old neighborhood where she and her husband raised their children. And she talked about the helmsman. I don't know if you guys remember the helmsman. He used to drive through and give donuts for 6 cents, and they would be so wonderful. And he had a toot-toot horn. Anyway, helmsman. She talked about that. She talked about the house they used to live on and described how the kids used to play out in the street. They drove around another block, and there was a boarded-up building. She got out, and she showed him, that's the desk, that's the booth where he proposed to me. It was all boarded up, but in her mind, you can see by her look, it was all alive. It was all working. It was all there. It was her life. Drove back around to a park, pointed out a park bench and said, that's the bench where he proposed. And this is the bench, this is where our first date was the restaurant. This is the bench where he proposed. Thing was changing, everything was new, but that was where it actually happened. Life, this is somebody's life. And then as they drove on, she said, my kids are grown, they have no time for me. And she said, my husband's passed and I'm all by myself. And the plan was that I would go into a senior home and I don't have a car. So when she was looking at everything, she was seeing it as if she was seeing it for the last time. And he drove her. She kept talking and she kept talking and she kept talking. By the time they got up to the senior home, the men came out, they put her in a wheelchair, they took her bags, and it was almost like they were locking her away in a closet. And he came back and helped get her out and get her stuff out and everything. And then she hugged him like he was a family member because she had told him all of her story. And he felt like he was sending her off to premature existence, death. But he said that day he went and picked up somebody, but that was one of the biggest lessons of his life, was how to live a life so that you that you don't have a sadness. It was such a heaviness and a sadness because she felt that she was seeing everything for the last time. And she summarized her life in a cab ride. And then she told the cab driver, and he talked about that story. It happened years and years ago. He's a well-known minister now, but he talked about that story, and I thought to myself, when I die, I do not want to go quietly. I want to be in my children's problems. I want to be their problem. I do want them to have to change my diapers. I do want them to have to do all the things I'm asking. I did it for them. It's no big deal. So I'm not going to sit there and let them pack me away somewhere and I'm going to be quiet about it. So just to let you know, keep the checkbook and you'll keep control. Okay, so then the thing I want to tell you, there's another situation. There have been unique situations. Janitors, these are heroes. These are hidden heroes that nobody knows about. Janitors have sent kids to college. They haven't had kids of their own. They saved up their little money and they sent 1 or 2 children to college. That's a secret hero. Nobody knows about it. He didn't tell nobody, but everybody does it. There was a surgeon that when we had the floods back east, and I think you guys saw it on the news, he walked 6 miles in the snow because he had to do a surgery that was life-threatening. Yes, threatening. What about, now he's already went to medical school. He's already done everything he needed to do, but guess what? This is called a hero. This is what you do. Whatever I have to do to get the job done, I will do it. There's no taxi, that's not an excuse. My car doesn't work, that's not an excuse. The roads are closed, that's not an excuse. Guess what? I'm gonna walk. He walked and made the news, but what I thought, what kind of majestic character does this individual have to walk 6 miles to save somebody's life? Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. Be extraordinary. You don't have to be average. It doesn't take that much to do an incredible job. And so then the last thing I want to talk about real quickly is when you start moving forward and when you start doing something unique and extraordinary, your vision, your voice, you guys know that when we talk, when we think, it's the equivalent of a prayer because you put things into action. And then when you think, God hears it like you're talking out loud. So your thoughts are really important because your thoughts actually precede your action. They actually create the soup that you're going to speak out of. They actually create the resin. So when you're thinking of a vision, think of a vision beyond the capacity of what you can actually do. Think of a vision as if money doesn't matter. Think of a vision as if there's no limitation. Think limitlessly about your vision. And guess what will happen if you come up with something bodacious and outlandish and crazy? The universe will start, it will resonate in your spirit some kind of way. We make a noise. When we start talking about our vision and ourselves, we start speaking it out and praying it out and saying it out and moving in it. Something happens. The universe starts partying, somebody's coming through with some real deal. They're talking about something. The universe starts moving. The very events that you need to make it happen start to drop in your lap. Robbie is a really strange woman. I used to think all the time, I was sitting there, when I first started the magazine, I was sitting there thinking, I need such and such. And then a few minutes later, the phone would ring, and it would be Robbie. It's happened more than once. It's not a coincidence, it's happened so many times. And the phone would ring, and Robbie goes, you know what, I got such and such, or I just met such and such, or I just have this happening, or I just have this person. And it would be exactly what I had just finished talking about. And I would go, my God, I think, is she in the room? Did she hear my phone call? But she showed up. But the universe, the people that are in tune, hear it, they'll respond, and they'll do. So all I'm saying is that if you have a vision, and you have the courage to dream a big dream. Everybody see Field of Dreams?
Oh, yes.
That's a documentary on just how it happens. When you get a dream, when you get a vision, you start looking crazy. You start talking about it, and people go, she's out there. When I first told people I wanted to be a stockbroker, they started laughing like I told them a joke. And then, so that made me really determined that I'm going to do it. Because they told me I couldn't do it, now I have to do it. So then the thing about it is that when you start dreaming a big dream, and you have the courage the courage of your conviction, and this thing is not just for you, it can't be for wealth, it can't be for selfish reasons, it's got to be for something like peanut butter, spreading it around everybody, it's got to help other people. So when you do that, when you think of something big, you think of something wonderful, and you're going to do it, the events that you need will start to fall into your lap. And there's a saying in the universe, the people make room for the man or woman that knows where they're going. So when I say safe is what average people do. Safe doesn't put you at risk. Safe keeps you on time. It keeps you safe, keeps you boring. Don't be boring. If everybody wearing black and white, you wear red. That's your job. Do something different. Don't fit in. Don't blend. Blending in is the kiss of death. Let me just tell you, in sales and marketing and anything else you want to do, blend in and you're done. You've got to stand out. You've got to do something unique. So, you've got to do something unique to make yourself stand out. Make a statement. Please do not die an average person. Please. If I don't say anything else, scream and say, I'm here. Is it making sense? And you can do this at any time, but stand up in your wonderful beautifulness. Do it. Do not sit and say, thank you. Exactly. Do not sit and say, I'm just going to fit in. I'm just going to fit in. So the question I asked at the beginning is, how big are you?
Large.
And part 2 is, how big are you really? Is that making sense?
Love it.
I'm done. That's it.
Thank you so much, Althea Ledford.